Day 204. Worked out today. I feel good. My wife bought this new thing. It's called Spedience, and I don't know if I like it honestly. It's okay, but I'm gonna try it for 100 days and see what happens. But feels good to get back into it though and have some sort of routine. We met with a potential customer today this morning, um, and we have a couple meetings. One with a potential co-founder person later today, and it's exciting. Every time we meet, it feels a little more real, which is good. Um, and I had a really really good therapy session last week. Yesterday, actually, it happened yesterday. Um, I don't know. I've been in therapy for almost 10 years now, and every week, and I don't know. Like so you get in a rhythm. You get in a rhythm of like feeling better or doing something different um, each time. And then sometimes it just blows you away the things you uncover that you would never uncover if you quit. Like if you just said I'm good enough, or I don't. I think I have enough tools in my tool belt at this point, but it's anyways, the thing that really stuck out yesterday was just I've just spent so many years of my life. First of all, I've been taught this by a lot of different things, but definitely a situation in my past that I keep letting control me. But I've spent so many years of my life feeling like I don't matter. And that's what I think drives a lot of my meanness. A lot of me is I don't really um, talk very loudly. I don't really ever ask for attention. I never really do anything to get attention. I don't really want attention. I never really like wear clothes that will bring me attention, or I've had the same haircut since I was a kid. Um, and the funny thing about therapy is once you start believing what you're saying, like most times you're answering questions like, what do I need to believe about myself in order to overcome this or to feel differently about this? And first of all, it's hard to find the answer to that sentence often. What do I need to believe about myself to overcome this or to feel better about this? It's really hard to answer that question. But if you ever can answer it, that's when the first little nugget of belief that it's true starts happening. And my question yesterday was, what do I need to believe about myself to feel like I matter? And because I've invalidated myself and everything I do, to the point where I've firmly believed I don't matter forever, my whole life since I was a kid. And it's sad, right? Like it makes me sad, like thinking about it. Like, so the trick that helped me break through in therapy yesterday, and it's been helping me the last probably year or so, is it's called third person shooter or third person whatever. But you effectively tell a story of a person or two people or a situation where you are one of the characters, but you rename them Mike, and you go through the whole scenario of this thing is happening to Mike. And we're all the audience watching Mike and watching him go through this struggle or this thing that happened to him, loss of a loved one, abusive relationship, trauma, some sort of effects of something happening, some sort of tragedy, you know? And it's a lot easier to say, that's really hard for Mike. Mike's going to have trouble with A, B, and C as a result of that thing that happened to him. Mike's going to not feel like he matters a lot because of those things that happened to him. And it makes sense that he feels that way because he was taught that. He was taught to believe he doesn't matter most of his life, through different interactions with mostly this one person, but probably a lot of things. But and when I think about how Mike and, this relationship over the years has, like, evolved him, I can see pretty easily that the fact that Mike doesn't want to harm himself or others still, or Mike is still trying to see the best in everything, Mike is still trying to help people, Mike is still struggling with if he matters or not, as a result of this relationship. I can see how that makes a lot more sense, and it's easy to see myself. It's easy to write the story with Mike this, Mike that, Mike that, but Mike is me at the end, and it helps me think through it, and we all learn through stories, so it's all like explaining it as a story of another person, and then writing the last sentence of the story is, and by the way, I'm Mike. It helps me break through the barriers of therapy, because a lot of times in therapy you're not able to see yourself objectively. You're not able to like understand what you're saying, what happened to you. It's hard for me to blame people in therapy. It's hard for me to say like, this person hurt me, because it doesn't always feel that way when it's not obvious. It's easy to know if someone actually like physically touches you or something, but like when somebody's just very selfish or very low emotional intelligence or very, just a fake person, it's hard to pick apart how that would actually affect me and how it would shape me. Because I think part of the problem, or part of the hard part about abuse, trauma, whatever, is it's always been hard for me to admit that person changed me, because you don't want them to. You want to rise above it. You don't want to accept that they really affected you and continue to affect you and probably will for forever. You don't want to give them that power, but I think I've spent so many years of my life trying to not be them, right? And I've been I call them crusades. I've been going on these crusades for so long to undo all the things from that relationship, or fight to prevent all the things from that relationship in other relationships or other places in the world. I feel like I've done so much unraveling in therapy about how to stop going on these crusades to fix or undo all of these things. And I've been happier the less crusades I go on. But I think the interesting part is part of the reason that, like, part of the startup, the co-founding a company has been so magical to me, is because for the first time in my life, I'm raising my hand and saying I matter, like in a way that makes sense to me. Like I feel like I can change the universe. I can change parts of the world. I can change. I don't know the degree of it, but I have the ability to, Like, the more I take really powerful people and I put myself in their circle, the more powerful I feel and the more I feel like I matter. And, I went to a concert with my friend Graham on Wednesday night, and we had the most amazing time. And I have this new mantra when I like hang out with my friends. It's no one is going to have more fun than me. And it's actually really helpful because anytime you're like, should I don't know, should I say that thing, should I do that thing, like it really cuts through the crap of like getting your own head about stuff. And I always end up having a better time. I don't know if I'm having the best time of anyone there, but I'm close. Like it's hard to beat me because screw it. Why else am I here? Other than to have a good time. But we're at this concert, okay, and it's like one of our favorite bands, and they're old and everything. Like they're from when we were in high school, and we um we know that the band like responds to this one sort of chant from like a couple of years ago, which is like a stupid thing. And I kind of forgot. We all forgot about it, but then I like remembered it because I was trying to have the most fun possible. And so we were like, let's do it. And so we screwed up a couple of times, but eventually we found the right lull in the concert and we like started the chant. And it's like making fun of the drummer. It's like, and that's like a big joke. Everyone kind of like gets on board. And so we got the whole crowd to start chanting the drummer's name effectively. And it's nothing and stupid. And like, I'm not like, put it on my, like put it on my resume. But um, the point is, for 10 seconds, I changed that concert. For 10 seconds, I changed the universe. I changed reality. I changed what I wasn't participating. I was driving for 10 seconds. And it's just, it blows my mind because I've never felt that kind of power before in my life. I've never felt that I could do something like that. Like, I know I can, I guess, like objectively, like, yeah, if I could, fake an injury or something, like I could change the course of history by doing something in that moment, but I didn't know I could do something that I've believed in, like I didn't know I could do something that was really good and better. I didn't know I could improve the concert, I didn't know as a participant I can still improve it. And that's something that like I've heard a lot about when I read or watch Steve Jobs talk. It's like he has this quote and it like blows my mind. It's like the moment you realize that the world around you is made by people who are no smarter than you. Like once I kind of like broke through that barrier that like everything around me isn't made by some magical genius. It's really made by a bunch of decently smart people, but not smarter than me, that all work on one small piece of it every day. And if you want to make something or change something or do something, all you have to do is pick one small piece and work on it every day. And Steve Jobs' goal was his goal was to put a dent in the universe. And, a lot of people would argue he did. And that's sounding like a pretty cool goal right now. I think that's a weird way of healing and forgiving that child inside me that feels like he doesn't matter quite often. And I just never thought that I could because I didn't think I was powerful enough. And, it's been small steps every day, but I've been putting those people in my community, in my circle, those powerful people, and I'm starting to believe that I'm as powerful as them. And it's a cool feeling. And I gotta continue to work through this I matter thought, this belief. I have to believe that I matter, and I can do really, really cool big things if I keep pushing it. And I think we all do. I think we all need that. I'm sure I'm not alone that you've felt that way, You don't matter. You know, it's, I think, I think it's hard not to feel that way because our brains are wired for it. The universe itself kind of keeps reminding us in its own ways. The relationships, a lot of people put that on us, that feeling. And it's hard. I'll be honest, it's hard to matter. It's hard. It's hard to be significant. It's hard to be remarkable. But it's not something that certain people have and certain people don't. I think it's something that certain people want deeply and certain people want surface level, you know? And I think the way to get through it is to take a step towards that deep belief that you can do it every day, that you can make a significant change. Like the idea that Sean and I are running a whatever amount of money, a huge company. I'm not worried about the money. It's more about like the idea that I could own something and run something and make decisions that give people jobs, that solve problems for people. I used to think that why try, why do anything, because someone else could just do that. Like me doing it versus someone else doing it. Someone else will solve that problem, and if I don't, someone else will just step up and do it. Like there's an endless supply of people that are going to solve that problem before, right now, and after me. Why should I like care? Why should I compete with them? And I think it's two things. I think it's one, it's a belief that you can do it better that I've never had before. I've never thought I could do it better. And two, it's a belief of I matter, like that. I don't care what everyone else can or can't do. I'm gonna do this. It's about me feeling significant, me trying. I don't want to have a purposeless life. I don't want to sit on the couch all day waiting until I die. I want to like do something that's helpful and magical and special and be a part of something like that. And I haven't really found anything so far that I feel strongly about in that way. And I think I need to own it to feel magical in that way. And that's just kind of who I am. I think it's hard for me to jump on board with something that I don't own. But so this is me feeling better about my past trauma and hopefully growing, I think I'm going to I'm feeling a lot more confident in standing out and being me to the nth degree, and having more fun than everyone else, and pushing on the universe like I did at that concert. I'm gonna start pushing back on the universe and seeing what happens. And I think that's what we should all start doing, is pushing back on the universe. I feel like I've heard things like that, but I don't think I really understood them. There's a lot of things I know, and a lot of things I've said and I've heard and I've read and everything, but I don't think I've understood many of them, and that's one of them. Is that I can push back on the universe and change it. And last thing I'll say is like, for a while, because of this trauma and everything, I went into I often go there still. I go into this hole of, there's no fight or flight. Some people fight, some people flight. But the other thing no one talks about that a lot of people do is submit. And I just become a gray rock. I just sit there and I take it and I just wait for it to be over, because the more I engage with this person, the worse it gets. It's like quicksand. And I just need to just be the grayest rock ever so that they don't make it worse. And that was the the door I chose for so much of my life that it became part of me. It became who I am. I can't not be a gray rock. I'm a gray rock in everything I do now, or I've been working to not do that anymore. But it's hard. It's taking me a long time to trust that not being a gray rock is more powerful, because it's just such an easy thing to do, to not try, to just be nothing, do nothing, say nothing, because it's stressful. It's stressful to be something. It's stressful to stand up for something. And but that's not the life I want to create for my kids. That's not the life I want to be. That's not a good life, you know? That's not something I want to I want to be the thing I want to change about the world. And I feel like we all become gray rocks too easily. And we all need to push back and show our power to the world. And I'm going to do that by starting a company and being the best dad I can possibly be and the best husband. But I'm not scared. I'm still scared. I'm getting less scared every day. But it's hard to get rid of these skeletons in your closet, these people that hold you back. Of course, from my Mike example, of course Mike is gonna judge himself harsher because he has that voice in his head that keeps telling him he's not good enough or important or smart enough or whatever. Like, it's really hard. It's really hard to sustainably turn that voice off and sustainably push back against the universe. But I'm going to push on the universe. I'm going to see what happens. I think it's what I need to do to fight back against that voice in my head. And I'm starting to, thank God for my kids and my wife. They make me feel so powerful because they just make me feel like I have my own team on my side no matter what happens, I'm not alone in this. So it's all just kind of free flowing. And anyways, so I matter. You matter. Push against the universe. See what happens. Push back. Push back in whatever way you want to push back. And I don't mean like revolt. I mean like don't accept anything as the best way or the only way. Figure out the better way. Go be significant. Go be, as Steve Martin would say, go be so good they can't ignore you. And that is the way to fight that demon off of I'm not important, I don't matter. Is to show me do matter and smile while you're doing it and say I've mattered this whole time. I just forgot, or I was taught that I didn't. So I'm getting a lot less anxiety about pushing back and taking a leap and seeing where it goes. Because the world around us was not made by people who are smarter than us. It was made by people who are just as smart as us. So have a good day.